Well, we're all back once again. It's a nice little Friday morning here. It's the last day. Happy fucking Halloween, you ghouls, you goddamn crypto ghouls, you altcoin investing ghouls. It's a beautiful day. It's also very cold here as well. Very cold compared to what we have been getting. And there's plenty to talk about with this month's closing coming up in just, 10 hours, 48 minutes, and 53 seconds and counting. It's not just a monthly closure. It's also going to be a bi-monthly closure as well. We'll go over all of the major headline statistics for the month of November, and then perhaps a couple of status as well, because there are many things brewing in the background. And I see some great comments already in the comment section. Les Cuetas says, "Why do people invest in shit coins? If all your liquidity went into Bitcoin, it would skyrocket. You noobs, you noobs. All your liquidity. You mean just all of your equities, all of your funds." I really hate this overuse of the word liquidity. It's so beaten to death at this point. But yes, indeed, I understand what you mean, sir. I understand what you mean. You know, at the end of the day, if you haven't fucking gotten the message that 99.9999999 repeating, of course, percent of all shitcoins are literal shit that are just designed to siphon money out of your financial accounts and into the accounts of very unscrupulous and very ineffective actors. Well, I guess they're not that ineffective because they fooled some people. Just invest in something else. Doesn't necessarily need to be fucking Bitcoin, but goddamn, anything else, like literally anything fucking else would be better. Like anything fucking else would be better for you. However, I see major gains, except we always discount the major losses that are near major gays. You think I'm a major gay, Elsa? Yeah, that's what my wife says. Jesus Christ, don't get married, guys. Just turns you into a homosexual. And look, I'm cool with being a homosexual, but most people are not. So I'm just warning you in advance. Anyways, sound. What do you mean sound? The sound is on, sir. The sound is on. Almost as pumped as you as seen Korn last weekend. You saw Korn. Korn is still around. Korn is like the early 2000s new metal band, right? Isn't that it? Ziggy Henry says, been seeing a lot of talk about Ethereum being the global settlement layer for finance moving into blockchain. What is your opinion on that, Krown? I don't know, because I'm not talking with the companies that may or may not be doing that. And I also have great reservations that is even happening to begin with, because what do you think a JP Morgan Chase is going to do? What do you think a big bank is going to do? Trust the Ethereum network or create their fucking own that they control fully? What would you do if you're in their situation? Like, what would you do? I mean, that's as always a relevant question. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not kind of like watching those marketing materials for people who are promoting that idea. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I don't fucking know. But what I can tell you is that if I was a big bank, if I was in one of these positions, I sure as hell wouldn't be fucking using that. I would build my own, because guess what? They have the resources to build their own. It ain't that fucking hard for them. And I don't see why else they wouldn't be. Happy Snap Day. What's up, Mr. Pesto? Good as always see you, man. Good as always see you on Twitter, or sorry, X. I'm almost getting to default Twitter into X now in my mind. But yeah, man, it's still taking some time. All that work makes me miss Krown, babe. Wait, what? Oh yeah, the work indeed. What's up, Mr. Van Doyson? Good morning to you, man. Link in every TradFi. Yeah, man, the Chainlink is going to become a part of the world settlement layers, right? Right? The chart would definitely show it, because people definitely wouldn't be the people who actually knew that if this is going to be implemented into the world, into the world, they certainly wouldn't be, already buying it, right? So you would probably see it on the chart, right? No, it's all just an illusion, which is the chart, which is actually not the best chart, not the worst chart as well compared to most of these shitcoins, but yeah, it's like, is it doing anything particularly interesting compared to Bitcoin? No. Is it doing anything particularly interesting compared to most of the other top line shitcoins? Well, also no. It's kind of like just par for the course right now. Unfortunately, not that interesting, at least in my opinion, man. At least in my opinion. Yarbrook says, I'm excited to steal my kids' candy tonight. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Steal all that candy, get all the diabetes that you can, and then shit it out and make your kids clean it up as well. Also, have them wipe your asshole. That's the way to do it, man. They need to be put to work, little slaves. Anyways, I see that I just got a message from my bank. Yes, of course. God damn it, man. There's another hold on my transfer. Amazing. As always, when you want to transfer your monies, you realize it's not actually your money. You don't get to decide what the hell to do with it. You have to get the approval from several other people to potentially move it. They could, as always, say, no, fuck you. Anyways, so really Bitcoin is king and orange pill is away. I mean, I don't know. Like, look, it would be naive to say that every last little cryptocurrency, of which there are hundreds of thousands at this point, maybe even more, are are literally all garbage. Like, I highly doubt that. You know, there's probably spot 0.00001% that are legitimate, that will have severe long-term success. And when you're talking about a number that's, you know, in the hundreds of thousands, I mean, that's going to be like a few projects, right? So I don't know. There's got to be something, man. Like, the probabilities would have to favor that, right? You know, just by the law of large numbers there. But yeah, man. At the end of the day, Bitcoin has, I really do think it's Bitcoin, not crypto. You know, Bitcoin's been around for 15 years now. I didn't really start to get into it until like 2016, 2017. And at the beginning, I certainly was not like a major believer in it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was, you know, it perhaps had some value, but I didn't think it was going to be like a big player on the world stage. That I was very much wrong about. It has become a big player on, maybe not the world stage, but definitely in the US, which probably is going to translate into the world. But for fuck's sake, man, everything else just been completely irrelevant, man. So yeah. Anyways, banks borrowing big in anticipation of a run on banks. I mean, I'd love for this to be true or not to be true. But if like you could provide a source as well, just so I can like test that out myself. I'm past the point of just trusting every last YouTube comment. But you know, if you can provide sources or something, I'm happy to look into it, because I don't know, that'd be interesting. But at the end of the day, perhaps it is all just hearsay. Perhaps it is just, I heard this from some guy who heard it from another guy who heard it from another guy who made it up, which is what most of this shit is, to be honest. At the end of the day, the only thing that you and I can see that is pure, that is present, that we are all equal in, is just the price. It's the best way of doing things. It's the best way of doing things if you ain't an insider. But if you are an insider, then you're probably not watching these videos. You're probably on the inside. What are you probably doing? I don't know. Sitting back in your chair with your feet on your desk, you know, just relaxing the day away, because that's the image that I have in my mind. Who knows, man? Crypto is adopting at a rapid rate over here in South Africa. Well, of course, South Africa is very, very important, so we should definitely pay attention. Sorry. It is, but just not in terms of like the financial sector. I don't really know much about the South African stock market, but hey, maybe I have some work to do. 8-bit artist is Krown. Is the title of your video meaning 126K was the cycle top? It might be, very well might be. I do think that we still have a top here for a while. At very best, you know, this is going to take a while to kind of sort itself out, barring a major girthy green dildo party before the end of today. That could negate some of what I'm going to say a little bit later on, but there are several things pending tonight's closure that are particular to the monthly and the bi-monthly time frame that I do think hold major power. And, you know, I don't want people to understand what I'm saying as bearish, because bearish to me means macro top in, Bitcoin top for like the next year or two, whatever it ends up being. And it's mostly down only. I'm not opposed to that happening, of course, but it's not my first sort of interpretation of what's going on right now. I just think that we're in a major corrective period that is likely to go on for a bit longer, and that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, kind of wild that quantum computing stocks 40 to 50x while people screamed quantum computing doesn't even exist and it's all scam. So instead we all brought known scams with zero value called crypto. Yeah, that's what I've been saying for a while now, man. It's very, very, it's not frustrating. It's just like, I don't know, man. It makes you a little bit cynical. It makes you a little bit sad in a way. It's like, why are people so fucking focused on herpity-derp fucking shitcoin here? I know Steven Schickman's already asked about Dogecoin and Ethereum already. It's like, dude, you could be getting these crazy fucking gains in traditional markets with real companies. And yeah, they are in parabolic blow-off top rallies. Absolutely, no doubt about that. And probably most of them are done right now as well. At least I've started to sell some of my own. Not all of it, but some of them for sure. And it's like it was right in front of your very face, you know? And why are we spending so much time focusing on cryptos in general? I mean, most of these cryptos they really do have zero value. I mean, it's so difficult to be successful, even when you are trying to be legitimate. And most of these things are not legitimate as, you know, at all, like at all. Crypto Moonbase says, it was on the news. I heard at the gas station yesterday, they said 10 trillion. I think it was CNN. I'll try to find it. Sure, man. Yes, indeed. CNN, the most trustworthy news source alongside Fox. CNN, MSNBC, and Fox are all of the same. They're all of the same ilk, man. It's just like, who the fuck even listens to this shit anymore? I mean, it's really, truly only boomers at this point. And not even most boomers. Most boomers, I think, are actually migrating to X or Blue Derp. But yeah, there's still like a small smidgen of the population that still pays attention to all of these major mainstream news media venues. And it's just like you're talking to someone from a different fucking planet. You know, it's just crazy, man. Totally fucking crazy. What? Can't. I didn't say midget. I said smidgen. But you can say midget now too. You can say retard and midget. It's great. This is Trump's America. It's amazing. They're all a bag of dicks. They're all a bag of dicks. Yeah, it is. It is indeed Bitcoin, not crypto, man. Good morning, Krown. Love and dismay from wet London. Indeed, man. Good morning to you as well. Yeah, I hear that's London or just England in general. It's always rainy. It's very, very rainy, depressing country. And I like, it's so sad for me, to be honest, with England, because my father was born in England. You know, he didn't live there for that long, but I think until he was like 4 or 5. And I've always wanted to go there. So I've always wanted to spend time there in London and in the countryside, you know, see where the Shire, like the real Shire is. And all I hear are bad things about England. Like literally everything that I hear about England is fucking negative from all English people. Like, you know, English people who've been there for forever. It's... It's just depressing, man. I haven't met a single English person in the past 10 years that said, yeah, dude, you should visit. Everyone says, dude, no, hell no. Stay away, sir. Hey, Krown, sorry about the improper use of liquidity. Sir, it's just my own autism that's getting ticked off about it. It's nothing about you, sir. But on a different note, I wanted to thank you for the Quant Prime and the Quantum Wave bands. It literally changed my life. Fucking yes. This is a great chill right now. It's a great chill indeed. But yeah, man, I'm glad that those are treating you well. You know, like I said, we have the free the free 7-day period for both of those for a reason, to give people, you know, an idea of what it's like if you try it out. And honestly, I do believe that if someone, you know, already comes in with some experience, if they already, you know, have some know-how, and it's not just like your random fucking, you know, get rich quick idiot herpity derp who's new into the business, and honestly, they're not even a herpity derp. It's just they're new, like anyone was at the beginning. But if, you know, if they actually have some real experience, they can make something with those tools. I'll put it that way. I don't want to go further than that because I don't want to give the wrong people the wrong ideas. But at the end of the day, yeah, for the people who really do put in the work, like, I think the tools speak for themselves at this point. It's awful over here. Don't come over, mate. Says Alex Bell. Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Thank you for that, Clinton Brabant. I see that there is no message attached, so feel free to just post it in the comment section below. And Elsa shall fish it out. James Hicks says, "Yo, my dad was also born in England and left at a similar age. I really like spending time in London. How weather isn't the end of the world." Yeah. To be honest, man, I really don't mind. I really don't mind weathers. I mean, I lived in fucking Finland for a while, man. Like. If a fast move is a fake move, then that 6-hour pump back was fake as hell since Benny Crypto. I don't know if fast means fake, and I don't know if fake even is fake, but I do think that that's probably going to be the high for today. You know, if we go over here to the price action statistics, we can see the high of the day is perfectly aligned with the average returns for positive gaining Fridays. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, man, I mean, perfectly playing off that yet again. And just to piggyback off that prior conversation with the Quant Prime and the Quantum Wave bands, look, for the people who are short-term time frame scalpers, for the people who want those easy daily scalping plays, I mean, you're seeing it right in front of your very fucking face again. You saw it yesterday on both sides, by the way, and basically every day of this current week. You know, I've gotten some message from people who are like, dude, I've been trying. I created a scalping strategy based off of the HPAS is what this is called, and now I'm like making better than my monthly wage. And like, it's good marketing for sure, but yeah, man, you know, it can't be done. Again, at the end of the day, though, just because I'm calling out these as potential scalps doesn't necessarily constitute an actual trading strategy. I think anyone with half of a brain can figure out a trading strategy to be using this as the piece of edge. But what I really want to be showcasing is that, yeah, this has real edge right here. You can see it again and again and again and again and again. And I think anyone who, you know, can understand the quick nature of compounding understands that, you know, these even short-term plays, which aren't like humongous home run plays, they do add up over time, absolutely. And just with such a high probability of producing a scalpable move, I mean, to me, it seems like a no-brainer. Anyways, go check out some traditional markets here. I want to see what these markets are opening up at and see where this month of October is going to likely end us at. Let's check out NASDAQ futures first. NASDAQ is more or less at new all-time highs. It did back off of yesterday's new all-time high a little bit here, but closing the monthly out in what I would say is a strong position, barring any sort of a, you know, major run down below 26,000 bucks, which I don't think is going to happen today. If it does, does even then, really have to come back down below yesterday's low for me to get somewhat concerned. As of right now, I just look at this as a quick retest after the breakout, very likely continuation again with the monthly closure like this, and also the bi-monthly closure looking something as such. It's like, yeah, you might get pullbacks, but again, I really just want to highlight for the people who are long-term minded, like this is okay, this is fine. I was actually having a great conversation last weekend with one of my gym buddies who watches this channel and has been getting into long-term investing. He's like, man, when I look at traditional markets like SPX, like NASDAQ, I feel like if I invest right here, I'm just kind of standing on the edge of a cliff. And I totally get that. I totally get that because it does feel like that, especially if you're, familiar with crypto, because, in crypto, it's like you're guaranteed for every rally to fail at some point. So you feel like every time that things are making new all-time highs, it's like you're standing on the edge of that cliff. But in traditional markets, it is different if you are more long-term. One of the most humbling and also educational activities that I've done on my own time is to go here on the very, very long-term, the longest term chart that we have access to for SPX, which goes all the way back to 1871. 1871, okay? So that is what, like 150 years ago? So I don't know, something like this. And I need to take a sip of this coffee, then we'll get back into what I was about to say. 1 pound of questionable quality corn-fed ground beef. It's actually, honestly, even if it's not grass-fed, I still think it's pretty good. Like, show me the fucking bodies of all the dead people eating the corn-fed. It does taste better too, I will say. But yes, I still buy organic just because I am, I guess I'm easily convinced. Anyways, we're going to start it off. I'll just go through it right here. Okay, keep in mind that in the early days, back in the 1800s, 150 fucking years ago, barely any trades happen per day. So like this is just some weird shit over here. But once we get to the Second World War in about 1930s, you can see an actual trend emerge, when you actually get like active trading during the days. This was leading into the Great Depression right here. And you can see after the Great Depression played out and price made new all-time highs above that September 2029 high, well, what did the chart look like? Okay, keep in mind, again, we're not even there yet. Like even when we go right here and you start to crawl your way up, if you're familiar with crypto and you're seeing monthly dildos like this, you're thinking each and every one of these new all-time highs is probably an all-time high, or it's not necessarily an all-time high, but like it's going to be a reversal point. And the more that I scroll around, like again, this is just freshly breaking that 2029 high, or not, sorry, 1929 high, coming out of the end of World War II. Now we're going to really zoom up here. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. And you can see, okay, yeah, correction. Oh, God. And then it's just straight up again. And then it's, well, a little bit of a correction. No, straight up again. A little bit of a correction into the 60s and, into the 70s. We're going to get a real correction here. You'll see what that looks like. But again, man, these are monthly dildos. These are monthly fucking dildos. And I think it's a very, very humbling experience to see this. Yes, you do get, major corrective periods at some point. Absolutely. I believe the US came off of the gold standard somewhere around here. But after that, man, again, new all-time highs, and it just continues to crawl its way upwards and onwards. This is what it looks like when you have when you hold real projects that produce real fucking value. Like that is the difference between stocks or just even like random stocks and fucking cryptos. So when you apply the same sort of framework that you've been listening to in crypto to stock market, it's just not going to work well, and it continues to, or it completely saturates you with the wrong sort of conditioning. And in my opinion, it's very, 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 very dangerous because I mean, as I've been saying, you could play shitcoins, you could play fucking Bitcoin or even traditional markets. And again, same thing over here. Like when you go through it one by one, it's not that crazy what we're seeing right here. It's really not that crazy. Yes, at some point it will be a major top. Yes, at some point there will be severe downside. Yes, at some point you won't see a new all-time high for, a few years, maybe even up to a decade or something like that. But for fuck's sake, man, like it's not that crazy. It's not that bad. We've seen it many, many times before. And fuck, when we actually do get the next like long-term corrective phase and you see the fresh breakout to new all-time highs, that's like the best buying opportunity possible, to be honest. So yeah, man, just a little bit of market history there. Market historians. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to go over, okay, maybe not tomorrow. We'll see when I release the video because I need to finish it up first, but I'm getting really, really close. I'm going to do another sort of market historian video, which I'm really enjoying. I don't know who actually likes those videos, to be honest. I really like making them though, because I'm a massive history nerd. But I wanted to go over all of the disastrous times in history, in especially recent history, like the past 20 years, maybe even past 10 years, where we've seen where we've seen governments overreach into, into people's finances and whatnot, and how quickly a good situation can turn into a disastrous situation. So yeah, just kind of highlighting at least what I think is a real practical use case for something like Bitcoin. But yeah, man, that just might be me. At the end of the day, I might just be a fucking crazy bastard. In fact, I probably am, and I'm the only person who's interested in it. But I'll post the video anyways because I'm really, really excited about it, and I really enjoy researching the content for it. So yeah, I shall take the last few sippy sips of this caffeine. Then we'll get into the actual Bitcoin's analysis. A decade, sheesh, yeah, and that's not unheard of. We actually saw in the not so distant past. Of course, in 2001 to 2002, you saw basically a topping market until about 2008, and then before that, the 80s was considered a bear market, but it really wasn't that bad when you look at it. I mean, when you go to a monthly time frame, it's like a few months of correction and then back up. The 70s were about a decade or almost a decade of no new all-time highs. And that was the last time that we really saw like, a really tumultuous period, in my opinion. Again, the U.S. was coming off the gold standard at that time as well. So, there is some fuckery abound, absolutely. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool to see a lot of the feedback here that apparently there are some other people who are like me who do enjoy this very, very nerdy stuff as well. So I think you'll really, really enjoy the video that I hope to put out either Saturday or Sunday. Of course, it'll be released when it's actually ready, but I've just I'm very, very close to getting like the base of it done. And honestly, man, when I was going through this, I wasn't even aware of all of these like terrible cases in the past of what's happened. But it really is as crazy as many scenarios as just overnight, your savings and your bank account vanish. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not doing any sort of hyperbole. That quite literally has happened so many times in the past fucking 15 to 20 years in first world countries. It's so fucking crazy, man. It's so crazy. It blows my mind. What's up, Peter Underwood? Good to see you, man. Oh, good as always, see you. But yeah, man. I'll get off that topic, finish off this caffeine, and then it's time for some price statistics. Spooky season is indeed upon us. All right, start off with some good old daily price action statistics. As always, Friday is slightly in favor of positive closures over negative closures, with just under 53% of all Fridays closing negatively since the bull market began in 2023. As always, though, we are most interested in the average gains and the average losses for positive and negative closing Friday. Did I say Thursday? I meant Friday. Anyways. For positive closing Fridays, we typically see an average return of just over 2%, which would put an area of interest on price at about 110,550, which Bitcoin's actually already traded up to today. So again, if you do have the historical price action statistics indicator, you can see yet again another scalpable trade coming off of the first test into that area of interest. So if you did take that one, hey, congratulations, you're about 1,000, or you don't necessarily always have to scalp it for $1,000, but this one is about $1,000 as of right now. And I probably think that that's about going to be your high of the day as well. On the other side, if Bitcoin does turn down before end of day, it would give an area of interest if hit at around 106,500. Again, I would be looking for a bounce on the first pass. If you can't see the value in this, by now, then I think it's just not for you, or perhaps you're hopeless, or no, it's probably just not for you. Anyways, we'll get off this topic right here because you already know my spiel with this one. Very, very simple. And again, we saw it on both sides yesterday. We've seen it just about at least on one side every day this current week for a scalpable trade. So let's now get into the long-term analysis because we have a major monthly and bi-monthly closure today for Bitcoin. So we're going to go over all of the headline statistics and then some major signals that are brewing in the background. Now, keep in mind, we still have about 10 hours and 25 minutes left to go in today's trading day. So that's going to finish up the daily, the weekly for CME, the monthly, and the bi-monthly. So things technically could change before end of day. But as of right now, I'm going to just run with the assumption that we're going to close somewhere around here. And for the Boo Law's sake, hopefully it is significantly better than here. Hopefully it is above one of the numbers that we'll go over a little bit later. But as usual, I've gone over each and every past monthly closure for Bitcoin throughout its history, primarily or solely focusing on November closures, and I've documented just the probability that we've actually seen a positive closure for November, as well as the average returns, the average losing returns, and the median returns, and all of the other interesting stats that we're about to go through. And I'm going to at the outset say that November actually is a pretty high winning rate month. About 10 out of 15 of Bitcoin's Novembers have been positive closing Novembers. So that's a 66 spot, 666, repeating, of course, probability to see a positive closing November. What we are most interested in, however, is going to be the average winning returns and the average losing returns, which are actually both very close to about 20%. I should note that the median win returns for November are significantly lower than the average win returns. So I do think that that's a better number to be going off of. That would be closer to 13%, and the median losing returns would be about 16%. So again, I'm going to assume that Bitcoin closes somewhere around here, and then we can kind of see where those numbers would align with. Let me just once again remember them. Okay, 13 and 16, 13 and 16, 13 and 16. All right, 16 to the downside from here would put Bitcoin where? That would put Bitcoin at very low $90,000 territory. I do think that this is a reasonable target if you do want to be looking for a further correction into November. Again, this would be assuming somewhere around here. And again, there is variance in these numbers, absolutely. But, mid to low 90s, it's the same area that we've been kind of calling off for a while now as a major area of interest if Bitcoin does get somewhere down around there. And of course, to the upside, if Bitcoin were to play out, a 13% move to the upside, that would put Bitcoin on new all-time highs. Actually, no, it wouldn't. From here, at least, that would be 124, 125,000. Again, that would be the median. The average, just your average return would be a little bit higher. That would be in the mid 130. So it actually is a big difference, to be fair. But yeah, these stats, however, I haven't been as interested in recently, although we have seen a lot of them play out this year, but not recently. The recent ones have not been that accurate, to be fair. What I am most interested in, however, is the date that we typically see the low of November on. And for positive closing Novembers, we actually typically see it around the end of the first week of November. So there's only been twice where we've seen the low of November literally be on the first day. One of them was actually recently in 2023. The other one would be 2013, 10 years before that, which is kind of strange. On the other side, for losing Novembers, we typically see it actually kind of early on compared to other months. Somewhere around about 2.5 weeks at just under 17 days on average. Now, I do want to note that 2014 was a bit of an outlier here. That was on the first date. If we do get rid of that one, that number goes all the way up to 20, which would be around the end of the third week, a little bit before the end of the third week of November there. So, just something to keep in mind. But ultimately, these stats little bit more in favor of an earlier low, even if it is going to be a negative closing November. So again, if I'm looking to buy in November, I'm probably waiting at least until we get to the end of next week. So next week will be, 1 week from today, will literally be the 7th. So yeah, somewhere around there, if I do want to be a buyer, that's kind of where I'd be looking for. And hopefully Bitcoin would play out a very painless move, a little bit below $100,000 to make that a reality, if that is going to happen. On the other side, if we do see Bitcoin, start to trade and make new lows later into November, then it's very, very likely going to be a negative closing month. We've actually only seen Bitcoin make a new low for November and still be positive once when it was after the 12th date of November. So yeah, just something to keep in mind as we go onwards and forwards from there. And then what I'm also very much interested in is the differential between the open and the low of November as well, both for positive and negative closing months. And this one has also been super consistent for prior months as well. We saw it actually play out again with October, or very close to the October data. Wasn't necessarily right on the right on the money, but it was very, very close, I would say. So it's still a very good guide in my opinion. But in this case, when I've measured the open to the low, so the open of the month versus the lowest traded price of the month for positive closing Novembers, we've seen an average differential of about a little bit under 5.5%. So again, if I assume Bitcoin's going to be somewhere right around here, then even if we are going to get a positive closing in November, we would still expect another retry somewhere down around very low $100,000 territory. That would actually be about 103,000 US dollars, which would, if you have been watching these videos for the past few days at least, that would be in alignment with one of our 4-day moving average setups. Adds that minimum target down to about 102 to 103. We'll likely get somewhere around there. So that would still be relevant for a positive close in November. On the other side, for negative closing Novembers, I mean, these differentials are massive, so it's not like as helpful, to be honest. And actually, I forgot to put in this one right here, but this one's going to make it even worse, to be fair. Whoops. Anyways, 30% on average differential with a median of 26.5. But yeah, either one of those that I take is going to be very, very ugly if that were to happen. Do I think that something like this is going to happen? Down about 30% to 75,000 bucks. I mean, shit, that would make me massively bearish if Bitcoin were to come back down to this local low here from April of this year. That's your last major trending higher low. So even just coming back down there is not going to be good, even though there's probably a big bounce underway. But that would be, that would be macro reversal, pretty much undeniable at that point. But yeah, I still keep my sort of hopium goggles on, just for the sense that perhaps we do see, a drop down in early November and then reverse into the end of the month. I think that is still possible here, to be honest with you. But still, my sort of main vision for Bitcoins is basically sideways until the end of the year, and that would actually be a very, very good and positive thing. Not for this year, obviously. Be very boring, to be honest, but it would be likely good coming into the beginning of 2026. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, we have big higher term time frame closures coming in later tonight. I do want to acknowledge that the monthly time frame for the MACD, it's not going to cross to the downside here yet, but it is going to have your about third drive of bearish divergence on the MACD histogram. It's not great right there. But yeah, I mean, it's going to draw these closer, so it is going to be a little bit easier to cross to the downside. If we do get a cross to the downside, which again, it's not going to happen in November, but maybe December if things really, really get bad. That has been a very, very, very strong signal of market cycle being over in the past. But going to more of our usual tools, I want to acknowledge that the monthly time frame does have bearish divergence here. We have 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence as well. We're also losing the moving average on the monthly RSI. Again, assuming that Bitcoin closes somewhere around here. I do think that there would be a quite simplistic way of also confirming bearishness, at least in the beginning portion of November, if Bitcoin were to close below that red moving average, the red 5 EMA. If that happens, I'm looking for a corrective period down to low 90s at minimum, something like this, maybe even all the way down to that yellow moving average, or just somewhere close to it. These have been our corrective periods throughout this current cycle and in past cycles as well, to be fair. But yeah, that is in play. And on top of that, this Krown oscillator that I've been working on, it is turning down as well. It's had a few kisses here and there, but hasn't really officially turned down just yet. We are getting the dots of destiny over here, which kind of give a major sort of warning signal, but not really an actionable signal until you see this thing cross down officially. But yeah, that is how prior cycles actually have ended. So not great, to be fair, really not great if you do want to be bullish, I suppose. The bi-monthly time frame also is going to be closing tonight, and the bi-monthly time frame, it doesn't necessarily have a reversal in place just yet, but if it does set up the conditions relevant for reversal, because this is closing as somewhat of a bodiless doji dildo candle right here. And if Bitcoin were to come back down below it coming into the next open, or coming into the next period, which would be December and January, obviously, and then close below that, so that would be any sort of a closure below 103. Again, another very major toppy signal. Would also confirm bearish divergence over here between the last few major highs. I also want to draw this regression out over here. You can kind of see it maybe working its way up into this officially, but ultimately anywhere around that is fair game. And then on top of this, I do want to go over here to our monthly and our bi-monthly stochastic momentum oscillator and acknowledge that, yeah, this one is very likely going to cross to the downside for the first time since when? Since February of this year, and that will happen today if Bitcoin closes below 115. So below 115, we see the monthly stochastic oscillator cross to the downside officially. It also would have bearish divergence as well, because you are getting lower highs on your momentum oscillator with higher highs on price action. And, these crosses to the downside have, again, preceded corrective periods, especially during during this current cycle, and in the past, it's actually been major cycle tops. If we go to the bi-monthly time frame, this does get a little bit more nasty, to be honest, because the bi-monthly time frame is also going to have a real threat to cross to the downside. It will officially happen at the end of today if Bitcoin finishes the day below 113,400. So we see 113,400 and 115 as major numbers. I would go as far to say today that unless if we see a Bitcoin rally back above these numbers before end of day, end of closure, I'm looking for November to open up corrective, and maybe even it's like a full-on corrective month. It's possible, I suppose. But yeah, and before I said December and January, I meant November and December, but I'm retarded, so you have to give me some slack on that one. Anyways, yeah, this one crossing to the downside in this critical territory as well. I'll just show you the last few times we've seen this happen and show you on the board with these green vertical bars, and you make the analysis for yourself. Anyone's capable, as always, of interpreting this data for themselves. I'm just giving my own opinion on it. You can take it or leave it as you will, but the data is what the data is, and that again, would be a little bit concerning to me, to be honest. So it's like, yeah, the people who are looking at this as a macro cycle top, I don't think that they're crazy people. I'm just not necessarily aligning with that just yet. I think it's possible. I think that there's downside coming into November, and it's likely going to be a corrective period, at least at the beginning. But hey, if Bitcoin rallies back above, 113, 115, especially before the end of today, that would be good. That would make me a little bit more, or it would make me optimistic. But until then, I do think that this is a time to be, defensive. This is a time to be a little bit cautious. And if you've had major profits from this cycle, I don't know, maybe take some off the table. Maybe you don't have to take all of it. You can still leave the majority of your position on, of course. But for myself, I'm happy to take some profits. Anyways, so there's that. There's also the monthly HPDR, which we can get into right over here. The monthly HPDR is also kind of scary to me as well, because this would be considered a rejection of the median. And if we did reject the median like this, then that does imply the bottom side of the 38.2 level becomes, an area of interest for a range to range play. And that is where that's low 90s. And we've seen low 90s pop up a few times now. And by the way, that median is literally at the all-time high. So it kind of makes me a little bit, it's kind of hard to produce some hopium based off of that, to be honest. The bi-monthly time frame, not really going to be getting much from this. It's just, yeah, we need a lot more history before this chart becomes readable, in my opinion. But yeah, the monthly is, that would be favoring a downside move. But here's the thing, and here's where I really don't want to get misheard, because while I have been stating some things that, have been consistent with prior macro cycle tops, I do think Bitcoin could come to mid to low 90s and put in another higher low and work its way back up in early 2026 or something like that. That'll be completely fine. And again, I'm assuming that today will finish at least below 113. So if that doesn't happen, that could also change my opinion a little bit as well coming into early November. But as it stands right now, it is below there. We got 10 hours and 11 minutes and 55 seconds left and counting. So it's going to be, it's going to be well, at least a big focus for me. I'll put it that way. Anyways, I'm going to take another sip of this water. Then we shall get into some shitcoins analysis. Uh-oh, we have a shitcoiner who's very mad right now. Christian M says, BS! Without alt, Bitcoin is dead! If you understand a real market. Sure, man. Yeah. And without Bitcoin, alts are never existing. Look, man, I'm sorry that I deeply offended you, but I don't know. Without alts, Bitcoin are dead. Yeah, good luck proving that one, man. I guess everyone's entitled to their own beliefs, man. So that's why we need markets. That's why we need markets. We need people like you to buy the shitcoins. We need people like you to buy the shitcoins. Well, I mean, we don't really need you to buy the shitcoins. I guess you can just buy them if you want to buy them. If you want to wreck your shit to begin with. But fair enough. All right, cool. Let's go check out some of these shitcoins over here. We got Steven Schickman number one as always. He's looking at Dogecoin. Dogecoin, last time we looked at it, I said, hey, this is a downwards bias. We have another lower high. And there was hidden bearish divergence as well. And it has once again turned back down towards these lows. So we've hit those first couple of targets. I do think that this one is very, very, very likely going to break down here. But if you want to go by the book, what I would say is, look, until you actually close a daily dildo below, I mean, we could use this line right here, actually, it's fine, at 18 cents. Technically, there's some hopium, I guess. Maybe maybe it does the unthinkable. Maybe Christian M is going to be happy because his doggy coins will go up. But in this case, yeah, man. In my opinion, this is very likely going to break. This is a setup over here that wants to break. You're on low volatility at the lows. Yes, technically speaking, until you actually break, there's always some hopium. There's always some hopium. But if and when this does break with the daily closure below there, then I would be looking for a move to like 15 cents or so. Maybe it even goes all the way down to like 14. But by the same token, I don't think it's going to break below these numbers right here. I think you're still range bound. You're just losing out massive amounts of opportunity cost, unfortunately, by being stuck in this very amazing asset, which is going to change the world and make all sorts of people super rich, and which Bitcoin definitely depends on, according to some people in this chat. Anyways, let's go check out Ethereum as well. And hold on, before we do that, I'm actually curious to see what is the momentum oscillators look like on Dogecoin. I haven't checked. Oh God, it gets even worse. Bi-monthly time frame continuing to the downside as long as you're below 31 cents. I highly doubt you're going to get a nearly 2x rally from where you're at right now, or 80% rally. You're also seeing a trendline regression governing the last few highs. I don't know, Stephen, man. Even your monthly is going to turn down if you finish the day out below 19 cents in the bearish control zone. Yeah, that's going to be pretty ugly, man. Yeah, just shooting you straight, man. Just shooting you straight. And then we got Ethereum over here. Ethereum, like, it looks the exact same as Dogecoin on the daily right here. You had that lower high. There was hidden bearish divergence on this one as well. You're seeing momentum turn down as well. You're seeing volatility increase while it does turn down. Like, these are all breakdown signals. If you want to go by the book, I'd go off of the price action pivot right here, 3,700 or so, just above 3,700, until you actually close below there. I guess there's some hopium, but when you do close below there, the 200 simple becomes a very obvious target, which is 3,300, and that's big time issue in my opinion, because that brings you below this low right here, and this no longer looks like a retest. It looks like a failure, which would not be good. So yeah, man, I don't know, the higher term time frames, I still feel like you can kind of squint your eyes and make some excuses for them on Ethereum, but the daily does suggest that we will see a try to the downside. Does it actually stick is the real question. That I don't know, because I still do feel wrong to get bearish on Ethereum right here, even though I have many signals that say that that's the right thing to be doing. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should pay attention to my own feelings on this one. I don't know. Hard to say, man. But I personally, I would say there's hopium alive on Ethereum as long as you're below. As long as you're above this quarter's low. Yes, I do think the daily will break down. Just hopefully it doesn't violate that low, because at that point, then I don't have that hopium point any longer, I suppose. Anyways, we got Live in the Adventure next. He says, GM, Mr. Krown, what's up, man? MSTE. Okay, this is a new one. I'm guessing this is a stock. It's a MicroStrategy high income share. I'm guessing it's some sort of, not fucking good. Yeah, you're probably on TSX. Bad and worse, man. Bad and worse. Bearish on all time frames. Ugly as fuck. I mean, the monthly's about to close on new lows, man. There's no universe where that's bullish. No, none. On a fresh breakdown as well. Like, this is as ugly as it gets. Not you, sir. You're a beautiful person, but this chart is ugly as fuck. There's going to be bounces along the way on the daily. I don't even know. I don't think that that's what you're concerned with, though, because you're asking about the weekly and the monthly. This is down. This is a big down chart, man. If it does get a bounce, I'd just be expecting a lower high. Even if it bounced like 11 or 12 bucks, I think that that's a gift from God. Overall, this thing closing on new lows below 10 and a half bucks, whatever this low was here from earlier in April, I think that just leads towards further continuation of the downside. In other words, I do not think that you found your lowest point yet. I think it's going to make some new lows in at least November, maybe even December as well. Shady B says, greetings from Thailand. Congrats on your marriage. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I've been away from a minute. Yes, I recognize the name, sir, but I'm glad to see old faces back in this familiar place. Thailand, SET, BDMS. Okay, I'm not sure which one's the actual ticker. I think it's SET. Or maybe it's BDMS. I think it's this, what you're asking about. Okay, so monthly I can already see is coming off of the monthly 200 simple, so I'm never going to want to get bearish into that number, even though, well, I mean, long term it does have a nice major uptrend, so perhaps this might be a major low. I think you're going to have a big bounce here. It might take some time to kind of, level out. And on the weekly time frame, I think that you might have maybe one more plunge a little bit lower to officially retest these lows from 2020. But yeah, somewhere around there, I'd be expecting a pretty big bounce. It's just, in my experience, like you're almost always going to get a major bounce off of the 200 simple on a major time frame like this. So it's not going to be like exactly precise on that number, but somewhere around there, I'd want to be positioning for a bounce, because I do think that this thing will get back up into like the mid $20 regions at least. Yeah. Hopefully that was helpful, man. Crypto Rect says ICNT. Oh, we got some shitcoins. ICNT, but it's an actual shitcoin. Impossible Cloud Network. Oh, it must be private. Let's see. 4 hours. So very, very low term timeframes. To be fair, I mean, look, if you're going to play shitcoin roulette, you might as well play the ones that are very, very new, because they have the opportunity to do something crazy. And in this case, I think you're seeing that right here. In fact, well, I don't know if it's going to be like a parabolic move, but I do think that it moves a little bit higher towards 33, 34, maybe even 35 cents. That's where I'd be looking for another like local high in the 4 hour time frame. Other than that, it's really, really new, so I don't really want to get super in the depth in the weeds with analysis. But yeah, I think you got a little bit more on this current run. It's a good run, not bad at all. Again, if you're going to play the shitcoin roulette, I think these are the ones to be focusing on, not the old shit. Not the old shit. Out with the old shit, in with the new shit. Straight Path says, GM, can we please take a look at clean chat? What? CL? I think it's this. I think it's this one. Daily, weekly. My LARP lines seem to be playing out. I think we looked at this one the other day for you. I don't know. I'd still be going with my LARP lines here. I think you're gonna try for a bounce on this higher low, something like that. Long term, don't hate it, don't love it. Yeah, you're pulling back from this last major high from March of 2020. That's to be expected, though. I still think that this has real potential to be a reversal over here. Let this one bounce a little bit. If it can bounce back above 2083 or whatever your high was from Tuesday, that would be like a bullish breakout signal in my opinion. But as long as you're below there is real potential for this thing to pop back down to the bottom side of the range. I still think holding the range long term is actually fine, is actually good, but yeah, big focus on Tuesday's high. Crypto Rex says, I am back. Hello, sir. He is back. Trump USDT, 4 hour. Thanks, Elsa. All good, man. Yeah, haven't looked at this one in a long time. Trump coin. Probably not doing hot. Probably not doing great. Is the monthly putting in a low here? Is trying, that's for sure. It's putting in a nice rally. I don't know, man. It's really difficult to call for any sort of a reversal on something that looks like this, right? So I got to stick to my guns on this. Like I have to bet on any rally that this thing is going to fail. So, maybe it gets up to like $9.50, which is a big fucking move, right? That's a humongous move. But at the end of the day, it is not it's still not a reversal there. So do I think you have more upside tries on this one? Actually, yeah, which is kind of interesting because Bitcoin feels the other way right now. But you got hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour time frame, and you have you do have an uptrend on the 4 hour time frame. So I'd be looking for some upside here, maybe back up to the highs from Wednesday, maybe even back up, or maybe even all the way up to like 9.5, as I was saying. But that's where I really be looking for another major high on this thing, because I don't know, betting on a reversal on something that's only ever gone down is usually not like a great idea. Also, betting on upside to really emerge in a long-term trend fashion for a literal fucking meme coin, also not the best thing to be betting on as well, in my experience. Fair enough. Anyways. Crypto Saint says, if 3i Atlas is alien, what will happen to markets? I do not understand your version of crystal meth. I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell that is. Is that a ticker? I'm guessing it is 3L or 3I Atlas. Nah, this is it? Sorry, 3I Atlas. Is this it? Oh God. Amazing. Well, at least like when you call for moon or doom, like you're going to be right on something like this, because it is going to go doom. I don't fucking know, man. Probably a bounce here, but down only after that. Just garbage, man. You already know that, though. You already know that. You've been around here long enough. ASPI Lonker says SLB putting in low in traditional land. Let's see. What even is this? SLB limited on NICE. Is it putting in a low? I mean, that's your obvious low. So I'm guessing you're asking like if this is going to be your next higher low. I think there's real potential for that actually, because you are coming off of the monthly you're coming off of the quarterly 200 simple. So this could be a place to actually reverse from. Yeah. And to be fair, like to judge a reversal from here, or at least to judge a failure of a reversal attempt is super easy. If you just come back down below this month's low, okay, yeah, it's failing, it's going to probably get sent back down to the lows from 2020. But until then, I think betting on a reversal from here is a tradable opportunity just because it's a very easy way to invalidate it. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a quarterly downtrend as well. So, you are certainly going against a trend. But yeah, I think it's tradable. I don't know if it's going to necessarily happen though. It's just an easy sort of setup there to invalidate. That's kind of my point. Anyways, Clinton Brabant says, thanks guys for love you both. Love you as well, sir. All good, man. 2 questions. 5-day BBWP setup looks like it's down. Also, you say stocks are the play, but isn't it too late? For many of them, they've blown off their top, yes. But if you're just looking for long-term investments, then the market continues to grind upwards and onwards. So I would have to say no. But yeah, if you're the kind of shitcoiner who needs up now, go up now. I need big up now. I need pay rent tomorrow. Give me 2x now. Give me 10x now. I need 10x. I deserve it because I held your shitcoin for 100 days and it only went down. So I deserve big money gains. Big money gains for me. Big money gains. Money now. Give me money now. Money now. Then no, because you're a lobotomized fucking moron and you will only ever lose money anyways with that sort of mentality. Anyways. Yes, the 5-day BBWP setup. Yeah, it certainly would be to the downside. Yeah, absolutely. 5-day stochastic momentum is continuing to the downside as long as you're below 120. That's not great. And my BBWP is getting very close to 15 percentile. It's not quite there just yet, but it is really close. So yeah, if it's going to be expanding in any direction, it is to the downside. You're absolutely right. 100%. You're absolutely right. Billy Williamson says, Sui. Oh, God, yes. Let's look at some of these crypto shitcoins. Fuck yeah, man. I can't wait for it to go down more. Amazing. I heard from Raul Powell that this thing is going to go to the moon and beyond and never down ever again because some sort of obtuse liquidity guide, which only ever has gone up anyways, has been telling me that it's going to go up, but it literally always goes up. So that makes sense, right? I'm also heavily invested in it, so don't pay attention to that. It's going up though. It's going up. Just buy. Guys, buy. Please buy. Guys, can you please fucking buy? Leverage fucking buy. Okay, take out some loans and buy because I think it's going to go up. It's going to go up a lot. All right, just save my fucking back. Buy! That's what all that shit sounds like to me, man. Anyways, to be fair, there is potential for regular bullish divergence here if it reverses literally from today, meaning no more down. No down go. Don't go down. No down no. But to be fair, that legitimately is possible, but you need to reverse literally from here. That also means you have a very easy way to invalidate that, and more importantly, validate continuation, which is just coming back down below yesterday's low of 220. This is garbage, man. Absolute fucking garbage. Not you as a person, but this is a chart. Absolute fucking garbage. Here's the thing, though. It really would not take too much for this thing to bounce, but overall, you got a weekly downtrend now. So even if it did bounce to like 3.25, still bearish long term. Like, this is bearish. It's not good. But even then, I mean, if the daily were to bounce here and bounce back above last Sunday's high at 271, the price action pivot right here, then yeah, you would have a short-term reversal. You probably got a nice run back up to 3.25, something like that. But until that happens, man, and especially if you go back down below yesterday's low, like, you're going to come down to $2, maybe even below $2. I mean, look, it's not fucking good. Like, it's never a good sign when your favorite shitcoin does not make new all-time highs with Bitcoin. It's never. Yes. Well, he's talking about fucking aliens. Like, I don't know what goddamn ticker that is. Elsa's tried to correct me. She said, Crypto Scient is saying that That's not the ticker. It's like, it's alien coin. I don't know what the fuck ticker that is. You have to spell it out for me like I'm a real retard, because I am. You are doing a good job, sir. All good, be good. Thank you for that, man. 1 pound of questionable quality corn-fed ground beef. Hell yeah, man. You know what I've been having recently as well is ground lamb. Really, really good. Really amazingly good. The Mossinator says IBIT weekly, monthly. Sure. This actually, at some point, I think IBIT is going to be the go-to chart for Bitcoins. Yeah, not great here, man. Weekly, if this thing closes anywhere below last week's low of 61 bucks, that's going to look really fucking ugly. Even right now, it already looks kind of ugly, but you know, below last week's low, that'd be, you know, no more Mr. Nice chart. Yeah, as far as the monthly goes here, you know, you're still above that red 5 EMA. I'm not really getting anything that's on this chart that's not on Bitcoin spot right now. So it's not super helpful. So yeah, the only thing that I notice here, which is consistent with CME but not spot Bitcoin, is the daily 200 simple is still, you know, that should be a pretty strong line in the sand still for the most ardent of hopium believers, still around about 104. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the bullish view here is, and this is, you know, I think this is fair, I guess. It's still like still gets kind of superseded by everything else in the higher term timeframes. It's like, oh, you got a consolidation range. Your highs of this is going to be the highs of this week at 116, or I guess that was actually last week, wasn't it? The highs of 116 versus the lows of this week at 107. That's your range. As long as you hold that, should be a bullish bias. I can understand that for sure. But the monthly and the bi-monthly are the timeframes that have me concerned here. Some concern trolling, but yeah. It's an actual comment. What? It's an actual comment. Google it. All right. We don't fucking Google it. Oh, are you 100 years old? Like, who does that anymore? Anyways, Nishant says, congrats on the buddy, man. Thanks, man. If I want to trade using HPAS, I know my targets, but how to identify the stop loss? Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, when I was calling this out, I'm calling it out as an edge. I'm not really giving you like the exact trading strategy because there's many different ways that you can do this. So one way that I would suggest is to use, well, it's going to be difficult in some cases. So let's say you took the short here and you tried to play a short scalp when it traded up to 110.500. Where do you put a stop loss if you're wrong? Now, here's the thing. If you took this trade, you would have already taken your profits. So we are doing a complete hypothetical that, oh, what if this thing really did fail? So in this case, that's what makes this difficult. That's what really makes this difficult, because how are you going to set up a stop loss condition? I don't know if there's a really good and obvious area that makes sense for that. What you maybe could do is you could, on the historical price action statistics indicator, you could go into the settings here and set up conditions to look at the first standard deviation of results, and maybe put a stop loss a little bit above the first standard deviation results. So that would give you a little bit of a buffer zone there. Is that going to work? I don't know. I haven't tested myself. Could you maybe go into the lower term timeframes and kind of draw from the past day's structure and be like, okay, right here we had a little bit of a swing. So at 112, I have a stop loss. Maybe that would work. I don't know. You'd have to backtest these things yourself, but I'm just kind of throwing out ideas there. But yeah, you're bringing up a really, really valid point that just when you have a piece of edge does not constitute a strategy in and of itself. 1,000,000%. I'm offering this up as a piece of edge, though, which I do believe it's massively proven itself as. It's not even my belief. I think that's just evident. That should be self-evident at this point. But naturally, you are identifying the next most important thing. Well, to have a strategy, you need to take profit, and you also need a stop loss. Maybe what you could also do, is to just come up with a blanket number. Be like, hey, if I'm looking for, let's say, a $300 scalp on price, from that number, maybe I give myself like $500 worth of runway on the other side, where I'll just put like a blind stop loss there, $500 above the entry. Something like that, man, could potentially work. You'd have to test these things out to see what it typically does, but that's why I'd actually suggest checking out the first standard deviation results or the 68th percentile of results, which you can do as well. Actually, sorry, that would be more accurate to say the 68% of percentile of results you could do right here. and you can measure that out and get that data right here as well. You could put it at that number because that would kind of indicate, okay, this one is actually traveling a little bit more than what we would have really expected in a normal situation. So perhaps that could be indicative that this is not going to be the scalp opportunity that I'm looking for. Again, I'm just throwing out ideas there. I haven't tested these out myself, but yeah, you know, hopefully that gives you some ideas as to where you can take that, because I think that would probably be the most logical way to take it, is to look at, you know, like the 68th percentile, or maybe even above there. You know, maybe you want to go with the 80 percentile, because again, those are extremely high probability scalping opportunities. But in some cases, you will need to give yourself a little bit of breathing room. You know, it does spike up a little, a little bit in some cases, but usually it's not too far off. But yeah, you know, at some point you will get a black swan, and during that black swan, you're gonna fucking wish you had one of those conditions. So yeah, I think you bring up a really valid comment. Chris Vela is looking at MicroStrategy weekly, monthly. Sure, ma'am. Let's go over here, and let's type it in. All right, strategy, and you're on a weekly and a monthly. Okay, so it finally has hit my target of 265 to 270. It even got a little bit below there, all the way down to 254. I want to see a bounce from this number now, or from this area now, that yellow 21 EMA. So I think that all of what's happened to it thus far is okay and can be construed as, like, you know, one major massive consolidation, something like this, which is still putting in higher lows. But now you absolutely must, under all circumstances, hold this low. As long as you hold that low, there's hoping that this is still, you know, a bullish chart, still with higher lows and consolidating at a very high level. But the second that you come down to lower than this number and get close to, or especially if you even get down all the way to the March lows from this year, that would be my signal that, hey, this thing is topping out for a long time. And probably better to throw away that chart for a while. Get What the Hype says NVTS stonk on the daily and weekly AI play. Fair enough. Good narrative for right now, but a lot of these things have kind of topped out. Yeah, pretty impressive move right there. Again, that's kind of the crypto move that you're looking for. I think you're going to bounce right here, actually. I do think you're going to bounce right here on the daily, but I don't think that's what you're going off of, because you're asking about a weekly and a monthly. Weekly time frame. Again, you traded right up into that last major high and sold off from there. We expect that. You know, you almost, that's another very high probability play. You're almost always going to get anywhere around there. So this pullback is normal, is expected, and yes, it is coming off of bearish divergence as well. So, you know, I'd expect it to kind of base off somewhere around 12 bucks. If that fails, maybe all the way down to 10 bucks. But at, you know, higher lows anywhere in that vicinity right there is good. So I'd give it a chance to really bottom out and try a rally from these numbers before saying that the rally is over and that this thing is going to reverse to, you know, to new all-time lows, or anything like that. And I'd just generally be bullish on it as long as you're above that $10 number. But just understanding that the current short-term run is done. It's done, and you're going to be consolidating for a while this kind of works off of these extreme conditions and consolidates. You know, maybe that takes like a few weeks. I don't know. But yeah, personally, I do think it will get down to like 10.5 bucks, and then try a rally. But that's just my opinion. Anyways. Let's see. Arms Private says, I see the 5-day BBWP setup has fired off to the downside. Yeah, we went over that a little bit earlier at the request of someone else as well. And yeah, if it does expand right now, that would be a downside setup. Absolutely. I do agree with you. Technically speaking, it's not officially confirmed the expansion conditions, but you know, it's getting I mean, at some point, you got to ask yourself the question, do I want to front run this and potentially have major gains? Because the 5-day setup, when it is a downside setup, you don't have to front run it, but you kind of have to front run it if you want like the big gains, because the 5-day setups to the downside happen so fucking quickly. They're typically over, or the majority of the move is over in a few bars. And so if you miss that first bar of expansion, you probably missed a good portion of those returns. That is not the same for the upside setups. The upside setups, you can wait for full on confirmation, and there's still plenty of fucking gains to ride onto those. But the downside setups are different. They happen much quicker. So fair enough, maybe something to consider, but yeah, you're right. It's basically, as long as Bitcoin's below 120, it is a downside setup. It is absolutely a downside setup, 100%. Go with Boris says, I've been missing for a few days. All good, man. Hopefully all is well though. Did I miss anything? Well, Bitcoin is more or less the same price that it has been for the past few months, but things still happen, I guess. I got more after despite the hate. Hey man, look, my hate of new shitcoins should not dissuade you from potential opportunities. Look, I don't do research of these things. All I do is look at the charts, and all I do is look at history, which tells me that most of these projects, the overwhelming majority of them, not even the overwhelming majority of them, but almost literally every single one of them will fail over time. But doesn't mean you can't have some tradable opportunities in between. Maybe that's what you have. Or maybe you're just going to get wrecked. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But long term, I'd imagine you're probably just going to get wrecked the longer that you hold that. So fair enough. Arms Private says, where do you think Bitcoin goes in short term? Are we likely to see a test of 114 first before further downside? I think that we've probably seen already the high for the day. Or that is to also say, if Bitcoin does go back above the current high of the day, which is 110,550, maybe there is a real potential for Bitcoin to pull through before end of day and hit that one. I don't think 114 matters, but 115 especially matters, and 113 kind of matters. So I guess 114 is right in the middle. So, cut it to the middle, I suppose. But yeah, if I'm just following trend here, and if I'm just following this would be the high of the day if this thing is going to be bearish, basically. That would make a lot of sense. Molos DF says, hello, sir. What's up, man? Any downwards targets for MNT USDT? Okay, well, this seems to be a shitcoin, so the downwards target is probably close to 0 long term. Oops, I went on this chart. Didn't mean to do that. I don't want it on this chart. I don't care about price action statistics for new shitcoins because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. MNT, this one I get a million fucking notifications on per day, and actually, apparently I've charted it out. Apparently it hit this 2.618 Fibonacci extent, the 2.382 Fibonacci extension. Interesting. Has this one topped out for a while? Absolutely. Has it topped out for forever? I don't know. What time frames are you on? Oh, you're on a 4-hour and a daily. Okay. I don't know. Short term it can bounce a little bit towards 155. Doesn't really do anything for it. Same thing on the daily. Like it might bounce towards 155 first. Long term, though, I expect this thing to come back down to about $1 if we fast forward like a month or two from now. Biff the Bear says, Halloween alt season soon. Meta weekly. When bottom? Meta? I don't know. I haven't looked at this one in a while. When bottom? Well, it just started to go down. I don't know when, but I think you're going to come down somewhere around like 190 to $600. So about 10% down from here. You got some bearish divergence on the monthly time frame, so that wants to play out. You got 3 drives actually. So yeah, I think you're at least going to come down somewhere around like 590 to 600. Probably try to bounce from there. Does that bounce reverse? I don't know. But yeah, I think you will. I think you will see somewhere down around there at least. The Conservative Cat says Tau weekly monthly. All right, I'm sure it's going to be great because, well, it's Tau, right? Tau's good. And Tau actually is kind of good right here. And this is right. This is the one that we looked at the other day and we said, hey, this is actually kind of putting in a higher low, and it did put in a higher low. So hey, I yeah, I was a little bit too hasty in judging this one before I actually looked at the chart. But yeah, this one's very likely going to see back up to, I think it was like 580 was the target if it did reverse here. Sorry, this is not the long-term chart for this one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is a reversal to me. This thing wants to reverse, and I'd be looking towards like 580, 590, maybe $600. Just needs to close above that high from early October at 480. I think it very likely will though. This thing wants to go up. Like this thing clearly wants to go up. I think you're going to see like deep 500s to maybe even 600. So not bad right there. Gallo says, asking for a friend. Ah, yes, the old friend analysis. Theta USDT. Oh, great. Yes, 2021 shitcoin. Amazing choice, sir. You had all the choices in the world, and you choose something that's already proven to be a failure rather than something that has not proven to be a failure but probably will be a failure. Great idea. Great fucking idea. My friend needs to know. Yes, indeed. He does need to know. Heavily bearish as long as you're below last Sunday's high. Direction is down. All higher term timeframes are bearish. I highly doubt you'll ever go above the December 2024 highs ever again. I mean, for fuck's sake, probably even getting back above $1 is going to be difficult ever again, even on one of those failures of a spikes. And long term, it's just a long-term trend towards 0. That's all that this thing is, man. This is fucking garbage. But you already knew that. You already knew that, Mr. Gallo. But does your friend know it? Maybe not. Maybe so. Who knows? Maybe he has some insider information. Maybe he knows that this is a real privacy coin with real privacy features. Very possible. But yeah, man, I'm going to bet on down as a direction for something that's only ever gone down. If it does get one of these one-off pumps, which happen every once in a blue moon, then I guess maybe somewhere around $1. But even that, in my opinion, would be a massive gift from God. Maybe even a little bit above $1, like 1.25. But even then, yeah, either which way, man, just that would be like a quick spike up to the high and then just down only after that again. Biff the Bear says, deport my people, please. What? Wait, what? BERT 1 day and weekly? That's probably the one thing that I don't agree too much with the current administration on. One of a few things that I don't agree too much on. Like, I can understand deporting criminals. Absolutely, fucking deport every last criminal that you can find and go extremely hard on that. Like, if someone's done a real crime, fucking deport them as soon as possible. But for the people who are just working like menial jobs and shit like that, I don't think you're helping. I think it's more hurting than helping, in those sort of situations. It's just not fucking realistic either. Anyways, BERT 1 day. I don't know. Overall, it's coming back down to 2 cents, below 2 cents. Does it try bounce before that? Maybe. I just don't know if it's going to try for a bounce here or just go straight down. Overall, it comes down. The question is, does it bounce first and maybe get back to like 4.5 to 5 cents, or does it just go straight down from here? I guess I'd bet on straight down from here, but I don't feel super strong about that. My super strong opinion would be if we fast forward like a month or two, it's going to be somewhere down below 2 cents. Something like that, man. Vahid Gabel says core stock. Got it. Okay. Thank you for specifying that it is indeed a stonk, but I think we've looked at it enough to know at this point. But still, it does help. So I do really appreciate that, actually. By the way, appreciate all the jokes as you make it fun. Thanks, man. Yeah, I could do stand-up comedy for super nerdy investors and traders. I don't think anyone else would fucking get it, though. Everyone else would be like, what the fuck is this moron talking about? Bullish as fuck, man. I think we've definitely looked at this one a few other times for you. I'm bullish as fuck on this, man. This is a fresh monthly breakout, and we're on the last day of this month as well. So yeah, you might see a pullback in early November. I don't know if it does or doesn't, but if it came down even a little bit to like $20, I look at that as an opportunity. This thing is up. This is a massively bullish fucking chart. This one has this is one of those ones that actually has potential to do like a parabolic crypto type move. Probably shouldn't even say that, but yeah, man. In the short term, does it come down a little bit? Probably, but I think that this is a real breakout that you're witnessing right in front of your very eyes, and this has like real crypto potential. So, but now we should focus on the THETA coins, man. The THETA coin's going to be good. I heard it on YouTube. Aaron says, flip the total 3. Isn't it bearish in the weekly? Let's see. I still don't think that these charts are that meaningful, to be honest, just because, if you were bullish on this chart, you've been bullish on shitcoins the whole way through since 2023. And what have most shitcoins done? They've gone down since 2023. So I just don't think it's a good chart to be monitoring. Is this a bearish chart if I reverse it? Yeah, it is. It's absolutely bearish. You got... Wait, the indicator values do not flip. By the way, the indicator values do not flip if you flip the chart. So this bearish divergence does not apply to the inverted chart. It applies to the regular chart. And I don't know, does that wick to the downside we saw in October? Like, does that count for it? It actually might. I don't fucking know. That's what makes those moves really, really difficult. But again, man, my point with this chart is that it's just kind of it's like an illusion. If you were following this chart, you would have been really bullish on altcoins since fucking 2023. But what have most altcoins done since 2023? I mean, let's go to fucking Dogecoin. Dogecoin since 2023. It's gone up a little bit. Not great, though. You'd be playing this like it's fucking alt season, and it ain't. What's another one? Maybe, I don't know. What has Link done? Hopefully it's up like a little bit from those lows like 3 years ago. Yeah, it is up a little bit from those lows. Yeah, so at least it does have that. So, I take my point back, but still not doing that well. So kind of an issue in my opinion. But yeah, is it bearish on the weekly for total 3? No, I'd be going off of those indicator signals, and I'd say that that bearish divergence can still play out a bit. But who knows, man? Maybe I'm massively wrong on this one. Does look to me like Bitcoin dominance wants to go up again, so fair enough. At the end of the day, man, I don't think total 3 is that useful of a chart. I think looking at the altcoin versus US dollar is going to be the easier chart to analyze. And then if you want a really, really humbling experience, you look at it versus Bitcoin to see if it actually does better, you know, as an investment, because that's really what you should be measuring against. Just like traditional market investments get measured against SPX, right? You know, it's just the benchmark. But yeah, either which way. Like, I don't know what I think about total 3, to be honest with you. I'd rather look at just individualistic shitcoins and figure and judge them from there, because that's what I feel a lot more confident on. Ondo Poncho says link short from 19 to 15 first or 19 gracias. Let's see. We were just on it, so probably should have just stayed there, I guess. I think you will get down to 15 at some point. I think maybe even lower than that, towards like $13 again at some point. But do you bounce before that, I guess is the real question. To $19. $19 is your last lower high. If you bounce back up here, then you're not bearish anymore, because that'd be taking out your last lower high. It's your price action pivot right here. So you'd have to be betting on a reversal if you're looking from if you're looking for 19. So I think you took a perfect position, honestly, if you're trading, if you're trying to trade the trend, because you shorted the lower high on hidden bearish divergence, and it played out in your favor, and now you're below all major moving averages. So do I think downside's more likely the first? Yeah, absolutely. But until this thing closes below 1673, which is the price action pivot right here, technically you don't have a breakdown, and maybe by some act of God it could reverse. And if it reverses back above 19, then yeah, you got real problems, because that's a real reversal. But you know, I'm always going to go with trend, and I do think at some point you're going to get back down around here. So why not now? Now's as good a time as any, right? Yeah. Then again, I go to the biweekly, I go to the monthly. Looking for something that's obvious, and I'm just not getting it. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's like super obvious. So I guess I'd just be going off of the high and the low of this price action pivot range. I think that makes it a little bit easier. I'd be biased towards the downside, if anything. What's up, Faraz? that 3L Atlas is an interstellar comet. Some suspect it's an alien probe or ship. Oh, really? Oh, it's like an actual alien. Fuck. The aliens are coming? Can't wait to get probed in my anus. Love that shit. Wait, what? Biff the Bear says, nobody, one day in weekly. I'm born more with my EBT. I saw a stat the other day that there's like fucking 40% of the population on food stamps or something like this. No, that can't be right. I'm misquoting that. That doesn't sound right when I say it. It's too crazy. It's great, man. Really bullish. Super bullish, bro. Make sure to long your longs and sell your wife, sell your kids, mortgage your house, and turn that leverage slider all the way up to 200 million X. This is a down-only chart, sir. It's a down-only chart. Only nobody will know. I need to write this one down on my list. What a crazy chart, man. When I watch this one. But yeah, I don't know. There's probably be some bounces along the way. You know, if things get really crazy, you might bounce back up to like 4.5 to 5 cents, but down is the direction, man. I'll be looking for this thing to come down significantly in the next few months, probably back down to 1 cent. Probably back down to 1 cent. All right, back into it over here. Crypto Saint says, Krown, you dinosaur! It's a huge news story. It's a comet, but Harvard prof Loeb thinks it's a spaceship. What happens to Marcus in case it's aliens? I don't know. I guess we're all getting anally probed, and I like it. Do you like it? I like some anal probing. Do you like some anal probing? We can all do some anal probing over here. I love it, man. Fucking can't wait. Can't wait. I don't know, man. I don't know. If there's aliens, then, well, I'm really glad that I bought my alien fleshlight back in 2018, because I can give them some pleasure that way, and then maybe they'll leave me alone. And I'm not even joking. I actually bought an alien fleshlight. It was blue, and it doesn't really look like a pussy, but it has some characteristics of such. And so I think if aliens are what I envision them to be, like little blue men, it could work. Chris Fella says, AINTI daily, please. Sure, man. AINTI. AINTI. Is it this thing? It's this thing. AINTI. Whatever the fuck. Again, another good example of a shitcoin that, well, Let me actually put this one on log scale just so I can bring the chart up. I mean, you're right at this last local high, so I kind of do expect this one to go sideways for a little bit and maybe play out a little bit of a downside move. But I'd give this one a chance here, honestly, just because it's a little bit on the newer side for sure, and it hasn't been totally disastrous during a time when most of these shitcoins have been totally disastrous. So I'd give it a chance. I don't know, might spike back down to like 4.25 cents, but overall, I'd give it a chance, honestly. I genuinely would. Because if it does break out above that May high, I think that this one would run to 11 or 12 cents, which is shit, maybe even like 15 cents, which would be like a nearly 3x from where it's at. So yeah, there's that, man. I'd give it a chance right there, but let's also invalidate it as well. Like, where would I invalidate this thing and get very bearish on it? That would be very simple. Below 4 cents, I'd get very, very bearish on it. Until then, I'd give it a little bit of an opportunity there. Again, a good example of a shitcoin that, you know, if I'm gonna play shitcoin relay, might as well go with some that looks like this compared to some that, you know, has just been down only for years. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit indeed. Let's go over here to the regular chats now. I've gotten through all of these super chats. What's up, Low Energy Fin? Nokia 3-month macro. Does this trade on... This is like the only stock on Helsinki Exchange, I'm sure. Nokia. I work for Nokia. Nokia, very new technology. I do not sound like Borat. I sound like a Low Energy Fin. I actually kind of like this one for a reversal here, even though I do think it will have a little bit of downside in the short term, maybe back down to like 5.25, somewhere back down around there. I think that this one's actually finishing out this month quite strongly. The quarterly is at kind of a turning point, but again, you got 1, 2, 3 higher lows. I think that this one has a real potential to push through and reverse and actually put in a move towards like 8.5, maybe even $10 more longer. I mean, that would be like a very long-term move. The bearish view is that, oh, you just spiked up into the green 55 on the quarterly. That's going to be a reversal, but I'd give it a chance here, man. I'd be bullish on this thing as long as you're above, especially $5. I'll put it that way, man. Bets on the World Series. I don't know. I saw that Los Angeles Dodgers are down by 1 game right now. I don't know, man. I haven't paid attention to baseball in a long time, but I do like the Dodgers, and I don't know. Maybe they're going to be great. Who the fuck knows? See what else we got. Just reading through some of the comments here. Top Krown AMD 4-hour daily. I think that's just a request for AMD. Oh, sorry. I just missed Chris Vela. Sorry, man. CHILLGUY. CHILLGUY? Oh, shit. Do you remember this one? I remember this one from 2024, I think, when meme coins were still a thing. And, well, they're not really so much anymore. But, yeah. Do I really need to do an analysis on it? I don't know, man. We see the same sort of setup here as we saw in Dogecoin, as we saw in Linkcoin, as we saw in a lot of other things as well. It's back down around these range lows. I don't want to call a breakdown yet, because if you want to go buy the book, which you probably should in these cases, you need to see a closure below that last local low, which is also the price action pivot low here at 2.4 cents. Below there, yeah, you know, if it does that, then I'm looking for this thing to come all the way down to like, I don't know, somewhere down around these lows from April, probably just down only from there, to be honest. Heavily bearish as long as you're below last Sunday's high, and if you can reverse back above there, I think you got a nice rally and, you know, back up to like 4 cents, but I highly doubt that's going to happen because it's just a chill, guys. Just a chill chart, just a super chill chart, going down only. And Zen, yes, our privacy tokens are going to bring us back to the riches. My privacy tokens, yeah, man, this is starting to look a lot more like the next major local high to me. I feel like if it was going to do one of those parabolic moves like you're seeing with Zcash, it would have pushed through already. This hesitation right around a major moving average, in my opinion, is this is more bearish for something that looks like this. So yeah, again, I'll be wrong if it actually does close above that 200 simple, but for right now, I'd be treating this as like the next lower high. Yeah. More likely to come back down to these lows at $6 or $7 than it is to push through. But if I'm wrong, I'll be massively wrong on that thing. Can't seem to access my BitConnect coins. Yes, my Bitcoins, my BitConnect coins. Man, I remember back in 2017, every fucking advertisement I saw on YouTube would be this guy, "Hello, my name is Craig Jones, and I use BitConnect. And I have 10 Bitcoins in my wallet that I earned. I did not buy them. I earned them through BitConnect." Something like that, man. I don't remember it exactly, but goddamn. Um, um, um. Why, like all of these shitcoins, I just don't understand. Do you expect me to say anything like that much different on these shitcoins? Probably not. Palantir long term, let's check it out. Again, I own Palantir. I've wanted to go down for a while though, to be honest. But I remember we looked at it last week and we said, hey, this is bullish. Just fucking send it above $200. And what do you fucking know? It's above $200 now. Amazing. Yeah. Like crazy, man. Every time I try to bid it, I'd just be like a few bucks off. This low over here was the one that really got me, because at first I was bidding just a little bit lower than this low right here. I've been waiting so long, so patiently to get a position in it. I missed that one. Then I chased it up. I did end up buying a lot, but I really wanted to buy a lot more, and I was wanting for it to come back down to about $100 on this May drop down right here, and it just barely grazed it. So now it's 2x from those prices. Amazing, fucking amazing. One of the best charts in all of the lands. Monthly perfectly back testing that 5 EMA and making new all-time highs. Not bearish, sir. New all-time highs more to come in this year, in my opinion. NASA activated the Space Defense System as a result of 3I Atlas. If it hits the moon, our carts are fucked. Our carts? What's our carts? Our coins? Our shitcoins are fucked if it hits the moon. Fuck, man. These aliens are coming to destroy our shitcoins? Oh, God! Lovely. Pepperoni Jabroni says my super chat got missed. How about you just repost it, man, so I can see it instead of just saying it got missed? Because I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see any super chat from you though. I just scrolled through all of them. Probably didn't get through it all, man. Yeah, I actually literally don't see anything on there. Is that you, Tommy Salami? AMD 4 hour daily? Sure, man. AMD, we looked at this one on Monday, I think. We said it looks good, and I still think it looks good, man. I think that this thing with the monthly closure anywhere above 230 today that's a bullish breakout, man. It's new all-time highs. More to come at the end of this year. Again, hidden bullish evidence, 3 drops in these last few lows for the quarterly time frame. It's like, yeah, you'll have your pullbacks here and there, man. If you're on a 4 hour time frame, you'll miss all of them, of course, but the direction is up, and honestly, I think it's probably just up from here as well. If there is a pullback, I guess I'd be looking somewhere around 230-ish, but ultimately, I think that this one has more upsides to go in the long term. What's up, Caretaker? Good to see you, man. Aliens coming for our coins. That's right, man. They're coming here to steal your coins because they're actually using Bitcoins for currency on planet Zargon. Amazing, man. And Marklark. Actually, on Marklark, they'd be calling it Marklark, wouldn't they? Does anyone even understand these? Does anyone understand these references? On planet Marklark? They wouldn't use Bitcoin, obviously. They'd be using Marklark. Like, everyone knows this. Everyone fucking knows this. We got aliens before GTA 6. Well, the aliens were already discovered in Mexico, I think, right? With that little Mexican alien who looks like he was frozen in sand while coming or something. I don't know, Jim Booty. Have you tried scrolling back in the stream and listening to the beginning analysis? Be Good 419. Quarter Crawler has a great question. Is Caspa a shitcoin? No, man, it's great. It's amazing. Be Good says USAR Minerals. Has it stopped for forever? I don't know. If it's not a shitcoin, that's a pretty deadly accusation. I don't know about top for forever, but I think this is a top for a long time. I do think you're about to bounce pretty hard as well. Maybe it goes a little bit lower towards like 17 or 18 bucks first, but good luck catching that falling knife, man. Has it top for forever? I don't know about that. It's top for a damn long time, though. I can tell you that. That's for sure. Amazon Daily Weekly, AMZN. Gotcha. On NAS. Not topped. Making new all-time highs right now. Probably going to make new all-time highs in November and December as well. Very, very good, man. Weekly closing this month out on a really high note. With rising volatility. I think the breakout's real, man. This thing is going higher from here. It's very good. Very, very good. All right. Which one? Just a moment. Where was I? We have a lot of Mexican aliens. Yeah, very clever, sir. Is Caspa a shitcoin? Let's actually look at this. I remember this was like really popular back in 2023 or 2024. Like, I rest my case. I don't even want to do any comedy on this one, but like, I rest my case. Like, for real, you know, this back in 2023 and 2024, this was like the darling of the market. It was gonna be the next best thing, the next biggest thing, you know. It's down only. We called a top for forever back in December of 2024 on this swing high right here. Why? Because that is your bull trap, and every macro top comes with a major bull trap. That is the best time to get major bearish in my experience. And it's been down only ever since, man. You know, it's trading at 20 cents. Now it's at 5 cents. Just garbage. Absolute garbage, sir. Not you, but that chart, absolute garbage. All right, Pepperoni Jabroni says, I don't have many stonks, but I saw a commercial for this thing on Boomer TV, and it's been kind of nice. Can you please look at ASPI? I mean, look, man, just because it's on Boomer TV actually is not like the worst signal, but let's see. No, this is, well, okay. It looks ugly on a monthly, but it's actually not ugly, I don't think. I think it's okay. Well, I might be eating these words fucking big time. God, it is an uptrend. It does look ugly on a monthly, but I would actually treat it okay as long as you're above this price action pivot right here at $8.50. I actually think it's okay as long as you're above there. But the second they come back down below $8.50, you do lose your long-term uptrend, and I would say it's probably best to treat it as a stock that's top for a long time. I don't know, man. If it is getting like a lot of commercials on Boomer TV, like those things typically happen near like a major high. And when I zoom out to the monthly, the quarterly, the bi-monthly, all of these looks like major macro highs. Like don't get it twisted. I'm just going off of the daily here because it's actually really not that bad on the daily, and this is quite literally technically bullish. So I need to see it violate the price action pivot at $8.50, but yeah, I know that's not very helpful, man, but it is an uptrend on all of these timeframes. The only things that throw me off is the monthly and above, because those that really does look quite toppy right there. I won't lie, but yeah, man, it's a long way of saying I'm actually not so sure. But daily does have a very easy invalidation point. It's like, I'd be bullish as long as you're above this area. I think that you might come back down to this area. It's very possible, but hopefully it's just another higher low and then, you know, curls its way back up again. Yeah. Hard one, man, to be honest. Soy Lana on the daily. Let's see. I'm guessing it's probably doing what everything else is doing. Slightly stronger than the other shitcoins that we've seen today, because at least it's still above the 200 simple right here on the daily. So most of them can't say that. My LARP line's playing out beautiful. Hidden bearish evidence on that last local high, came back down. You know, I think you can have like a small amount of hopium here, even though, yes, it is a downtrend, even though, yes, I am bearish on this. I think that for the people who want to be bullish on this, you can kind of say, okay, maybe there's a potential for reversal here as long as you're above this 178 low. The second that you come back down below there and close a daily below there, it is an official breakdown. And personally, I think that will happen. I think that it will come back down to like 150, 155 at least. Yeah. But you know, if you want an invalidation, or it's not an invalidation. This would be validation of downwards continuation. The invalidation of downside wouldn't be had until you're back above that last local high, which is 205. So, I don't think that that's what's happening here. I do think that this one will break to the downside, but hey, my sort of skepticism in getting like immediately bearish and having like an easy bearish call is just that you're on the daily 200 simple, and it's one of my rules that I just don't like trying to anticipate a breakdown when you're riding that moving average, just because it can bounce things so many times, you know, and can be death by 1,000 paper cuts if you get it wrong. It's kind of difficult, man. Solana ringing the bell on New York Stock Exchange is a top signal. Did that really happen? I mean, then yeah, it probably is down. I mean, look, I do think it is going to go down personally, but that is just my rule, and I ain't fucking trading this, so I got no skin in the game on this thing. If you look into Caspa, you will see why it has potential long-term. No, it does not, sir. See, this is the thing. Like, people read these fucking, like, I'm just going to speak in very, very plain terms, like, not even making jokes. This is why people get swept up in white papers and shit like this. It's a fucking marketing ploy. This person thinks, you will see why it has potential long term. It does not matter. It does not matter. Look, the only way you get a shitcoin chart like this is because all of the initial investors, all of the initial people who own this thing, they sold it off. They sold it off. They're dumping on you. It fair launch doesn't mean anything, man. There's so many projects that have a fair launch that fucking dump to hell. Proof of work, okay. Again, doesn't really matter. Scalable layer one. Why is it any different than any other of the layer ones? Why are any of them going to be successful? It is a block DAG. Doesn't mean anything. Not a blockchain. The developers were around in early Bitcoin days. Again, there's been many other projects. They can say the same fucking marketing ploys like this. There's nothing of substance in what you just wrote there. There's literally nothing of substance, man. Bitcoin has first mover advantage, but to be used as a currency, it is too slow and too expensive. Yes, this is the same tried and provenly false narrative that shitcoiners want to continue to propel. This is a garbage chart, man. This is going down only. It will never, absolutely ever go back above this high ever again. Besides any sort of a bad print on an exchange that, you know, will be quickly undone because, you know, they fucked it up or something like that. Look, man, the difference between this thing and Bitcoin is very simple. Bitcoin has a long-term history of going up. This thing has a long-term history of going down, and it goes down only. And guess what? It's also been in the context of a fucking parabolic bull market for not just Bitcoin, but all of fucking humanity right now. All of the fucking traditional market assets are in a bull market. And this thing has been down only for a year and a half during a period when all of these other ones have gone up massively. It's not a good sign ever, like ever, ever, ever. And the reason why I'm being a little bit more rude to this person right here, and I really don't want to be rude to you. I want to be rude to this idea, because this is an idea that I'm attacking right here, is that it is provably false. The answer is right in front of your face, man. It's right in front of your face. Did Bitcoin go down while traditional markets were going up in a parabolic bull market? No. And it certainly wasn't going down 76% while all of them were making new all-time highs. That's the fucking difference, man. This is garbage, 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 garbage. 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 Calm down, sir. This is Chick-fil-A. Sorry, sir. I'll get right on those fries for you. But hey, man, be my guest, buy it all. And if you're right, then you can laugh in my face. And I honestly won't care that much. I guess I'll be kind of happy for you, I suppose, you know. But yeah, this thing ever going back above 12 cents is a fucking fantasy, man. It's a fucking fantasy. This is just beyond garbage. This is beyond garbage. Like, the worst thing about shitcoins is not when they're like literal meme coins that, you know, everyone knows that that they have no value. The worst thing is when they try to convince you that they have value and try with all of these marketing fucking gimmicks and bullshit. Those are the ones that are the most dangerous, the most worst. Litecoin is a real Bitcoin, and people just don't know it. That's right, man. And only you know it. So you can accumulate all the Litecoins you want, and perhaps no one will ever know that it's the real Bitcoin for the history of humanity. Oh God, you're going to be the only person who knows. Thank God that you know, though, bro. You can continue to accumulate those Litecoins low. Like, again, just retardation. But yeah. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. No, I would hope that you laugh in my face, man, because look, I say some like really fucking intense things sometimes, and if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be fucking wrong. But yeah, do I think that that's a garbage chart? Absolutely. Do I think it ever has a chance of having any real upside? Absolutely fucking not, man. It's been in a bull market for multiple years. It does not make new highs. That there's no worse of a sign. Like, one thing that you can say about Bitcoin is that when Bitcoin in the early days, when, yes, it did have pretty nasty dumps for sure, it still went up when traditional markets were making new all-time highs. We're talking about a year and a half period where Caspa has been down 75% while traditional markets have continued to go up and make new all-time highs during that whole period, the whole fucking period, every fucking month almost. Like, these are not the same things, man. These are not the same things at all. That thing is provably garbage, unfortunately. Do an episode on the train stock bubble? I actually don't know about this, man. Need to educate myself on that one. Look, if you're asking me to look at Caspa deeper, I'm just not interested, to be honest with you. And again, that's not because That's not because I know for a fact that it's that is actual garbage. Just I am not equipped to analyze the fundamentals properly, and I honestly don't think almost any of us are, because first, fundamentals, they really don't matter that much, to be honest. But in the event that they do, I don't know how to interpret them properly. How do you even interpret the fundamentals properly? It doesn't have earnings reports, doesn't have anything. I mean, what, you're going to analyze a team and be like, oh, it has a great team. You don't fucking know the team. Like, I've heard the reason why I'm so intense about all of this shit, because I've heard all of these fucking things. I've heard all of these, like every single one of these points and more, a million of them since I got into this market in 2016 and 2017. I've heard it all a million fucking times. So forgive me if I'm a little bit skeptical hearing it for the millionth and first time. Same fucking garbage, you know. Oh, it's the next Bitcoin. No, people just don't know. People need to look into it. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. It never ends. It never ends, sir. It never ends. But hey, like I said, if I'm wrong, I hope that you make all kinds of gains and you buy a Citadel in the sky and you say, Krown, you're the only person not allowed in my Citadel because you talk shit about my Caspa coins. But they just partnered with Sony. It looks like no one gives a fuck. The price goes down. If it's not Bitcoin, it's crypto casino. More or less, yeah. Like I said, there's going to be some of these things that are massively successful, but have we even seen them? It's very possible we haven't even seen them yet. They haven't even been created yet, because, you know, the next best thing is Ethereum, and Ethereum is, I mean, it's a complete failure this cycle. Litecoin still prints new blocks. Yeah, it's the Litecoin fanatics also really interest me, just because the own fucking creator of Litecoin has said, yeah, I sold all my fucking Litecoin and I wish I never made it. But then you have a Litecoin Warrior 666 on Twitter or X, you know, posting about how you don't know the real value of Litecoin, which is silver to Bitcoin's gold. Yeah, man. Like I said, look, if you've been in these markets even for a few years, you've heard all of these points a million times about, you know, why this shitcoin is going to be the next best thing or the next biggest thing. And does it ever come to fruition? No, man. No. And you have to understand, partnerships don't even matter to begin with for the most part, because you're talking about one crypto company that has zero fucking revenues partnering with another crypto company that has zero fucking revenues. It's like, it doesn't matter. When you add shit plus piss, you get shit and piss in a pile. Get what the hype says. QUBT, Stonk, quantum computing, good narrative. Let's see. Let's pull out here. I know you asked about a daily, weekly. Okay, so I actually do think that this one could have a real reversal here, but in the short term, I do think it will be down. The reason why I think it'll be down is because you're hitting the 200 simple on the monthly. You're hitting this high and this high. And while you do have a macro high or low right here, I do think you're going to spend some time consolidating sideways and down, probably coming back down to like $10 or so. So maybe something like this. Boom, boom. Now, if you're on a daily, I don't know if that matters to you. On a daily, I think you're going to try a short-term upside move here. I just don't think it's going to get continuation. I think you're going to come down after that. Something like that, man. Something like that. Something like that, sir. Sequoia says it takes a cycle for us noobs to realize that the utter uselessness of most crypto and the long-term value of the stock market. But then again, man, to be honest, like, not everyone does, man. Not everyone does. I mean, there's people who are around for multiple cycles that are continuing to hold the same crypto shitcoins during those during those cycles from past cycles. You know, they just get it. They just get swept up into the sunk cost fallacy that, oh shit, I bought into this fucking shitcoin from last cycle. It's supposed to go to the moon, and I saw it go up a lot once for one period, and then it went down only after that. But surely it can do that again. So it really wouldn't take much, right? It's like, no. Just looking at the euro dollar right here, it topped out. Holy shit. I think, oh my God, I sold all my euros at 116.5. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. The only thing worse than the dollar is the fucking euro. By the way, I think there's going to be a digital euro like very soon. I think it's coming out like very, very soon. The CBDC euro. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm sorry, Europeans. There's a lot of great people in Europe, which is very unfortunate. Sorry, it's very unfortunate that those people have to be in the same under the same umbrella as those fucking Eurocrats. Man, the Eurocrats are the worst. But I'll tell you, if there's one good thing about the Eurocrats, it's this meme. It's this fucking meme. Oh my God, where is he? All right, this guy posts this fucking meme all the time of the Eurocrats. This is like the boss of all Eurocrats. I'm sure I don't need to scroll that. Yes, there it is. This is the king Eurocrat right here. This is the one. This is the guy. He's the man. He's the king regulator. Making sure that everyone's being safe. We don't want anyone to be unsafe now, do we? No, 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 no. You cannot be unsafe. Use the digital euro. It's the only safe currency out there. Also, it is carbon neutral friendly. Haha. Yes, we know that too. We need to be very aware of the environment, and we also need to be safe. Did I mention being safe? Who wants to be safe? I want to be safe. Are you safe right now, sir? You don't look very safe to me. We need to make this guy more safe. Dear Krown, BYND, 4 hour and 1 hour and 15 minute, very low term timeframes. This is beyond meat. I want to be bearish on it just because I hate the company, but as far as the chart goes, well, it is still bearish, yeah. One of these quick pumps and dumps. I don't know, man. Probably going to be down only from here. Maybe it tries a bounce on this gap fill at like $1.50, but I think that you're coming back down below $1 after that. I don't think this is going to be your next major low. I think it had a chance for a moment, but it's a down only chart. I mean, this might as well be a shitcoin chart, to be honest. Sorry, you're also asking about it in 1 hour. Like these slow bleeds after a one-off pump are usually not a good sign, but at some point there's going to be something resembling a bounce, right? Right? I swear, right? I don't know, man. The only thing I can bet on is the long term here, and the long term is down. That sounds like a threat. That sounds like a threat. Oh, no, 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 sir. We are going to be very safe here. I promise you. We will be very safe. Yes, yes, yes. Be safe, everyone. We wouldn't want to be unsafe now, would we? Mr. Aaron Shaznari says, Krown, tell us about your insane pre-live intro. Who made it? Such a crazy video. Yeah, man. It was actually one of the community members who turned into a really good friend back in, I met him in 2018. We were working together until about 2019 to 2020, but it was a really sad story, man. This guy was a fucking world talent. He was a world talent in like video creation and everything. And I don't know how he found me or anything like that, but it was really unfortunate, man. In 2020, he during the Rona dump, I think he got fully liquidated for like everything that he owned and more. And I don't know the full story because he never really told me, but I got a message later from one of from like a mutual friend that he had likely suicided. So I really don't know what happened, man. I just know that like my contact with him ceased after that moment. So I assume that was true. But yeah, I mean, it was honestly really awful, man. Honestly, really awful. And I wish he was here, man. I wish he was here. Not for any other reason than we could be making some really cool content at this point. But no, I genuinely enjoyed him. And I think the people who knew him in the Discord at the time too, they genuinely enjoyed him as well. He was like a real legitimate guy. I really liked him. Really unfortunate, man. Yeah, the first intro song was great as well, but that was not a song that I had the rights to, unfortunately. So I couldn't play it anymore because all my videos were getting blocked. It was really, really unfortunate, but it was a great song, man. Let's see. I'll read through a few more of these, and then we'll call it a day. Let's see. Yeah, it is really crazy. Honestly, it is really crazy. IonQ stock. We can do that. We can do that. Yeah, I played as a tribute to him. I still got, I don't know. I probably need to work with Faraz and figure out what sort of cool shit we can do. Cause I think Faraz has like similar talent. Anyways, looking at IonQ here, I think my LARP lines are still kind of the play. Honestly, I think it is going to come down overall, but in the short term, you might get a little bit of extension on this bounce towards like 69 or $70, but I don't think it's going to continue new highs from there. I think you correct more to the downside, actually. I missed the Crypto Krown song too, so Spin Kick. Oh, you mean the actually still have that one, man, but it's just not very long. It's unfortunately not very long, so I can't really like play. It doesn't make sense to like play during a 10-minute long intro. Carbon Patrick says, "Let's go Bitcoin pump. Bitcoin pump now. Give me pump now. Pump now. Pump it up now." Yeah, see, this is why I have that rule of like, it's like, yeah, it looks like things are going to break down, but when you're on that 200 simple, Don't hastily guess it. Just don't hastily front run it. So yeah, Fibonacci retracement, CCJ stonk. You want me to like draw a Fibonacci retracement? I mean, I can do that, I guess. I don't know why you want me to draw a retracement right here. This thing is continuing right now, so retracement would imply it's gonna pull back. So I don't know why. I actually don't know why you'd want me to draw that, to be honest. I can do it though. Take it from the last low to the current high. If it were to pull back, these would be the areas that I'd be looking for. I don't think that this is going to be valid though, because this is continuation. It's not a top just yet. You need to compare tops with bottoms for Fibonacci's. Yeah, it also depends what time frame you're on. Maybe you're on a daily. I don't know. In that point, maybe like back down to 89 or 90, fill that gap, and then back up. But you know, regardless of which way I look at it, the monthly, I think you're going to be making new ultimas in November or December, maybe even both. Maybe even both. Yeah, to be honest, the big lesson with that, I can tell you guys the big lesson with that actually. Just like kind of reflecting on my friend there. So he very likely committed suicide because he was in a terrible financial situation. I think that at that point he had taken out a bunch of loans or something. Like I knew that there was something going on with his financial situation, but I didn't know the details of it. And he didn't really like talking about it. You know, I can only guess why, right? And then I think he got completely wiped out for everything that he had left in the Rona dump, something like this. And I guess at that point he probably just felt like it was hopeless and like there was no way out. But of course, now because we have, you know, history behind us, here was the Rona dump. It was up only since then, and like I do think from myself from time to time when I'm thinking about him, it's like, if only he knew what happened after that. Like, if only he knew what happened after that, he wouldn't have done what he did. You know, things went from fucking $3,000 to $60,000. I'm sure he could have done well enough to at least put himself in a decent position at that point. You know, so just, I guess the point is, or the lesson is, like, if you think things are all over for you, you don't know what the future holds. So don't do something that is permanent when you don't know for sure. Because, well, I think if he were here today, he would probably be telling a story about how he was thinking about suiciding back over here and how happy he wasn't, you know, over here. So yeah, just hopefully a positive message there. But yeah, man. Anyways, I think that's a good place maybe leaving off on this live stream. It's been 2 hours, literally on the dot almost right now. A little bit of a sombering moment to end it on as well. You know, unfortunate there. But I hope to have some sort of a positive message from that. So fair enough. Anyways, we'll be signing off on that note. Like I said, I hope to have this new video ready by at least Sunday, but maybe even tomorrow I could have it ready. I'm really, really enjoying making it. And I feel like I'm very, very close on it. But when it's ready, of course. And other than that, yeah, we're going to be signing off for Halloween. Hopefully you're going to get some nice presents on your trick-or-treating adventures later today. And keep in mind, you know, the monthly and bi-monthly closure later tonight, those are the big focuses for today's analysis. And, you know, Hopium, I do still think could be alive if Bitcoin were to especially pop up at least above 113, but it would look a lot better in my eyes if it was above about 115. But hey, either which way, you know, we'll come back at it on Monday once we have those closures in and see where the probabilities once again align. Other than that, I want to wish everyone the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully in the future